Hi, I'm Karen Davis with the Taste of Home Cooking School, and I'm actually at home right now. It's our off season, and we're gearing up for our spring 2014 cooking schools. We can't wait. It's going to be a great season. In the meantime, I thought as we come off of the holidays and maybe you feel like you overindulged a little bit, you might be interested in lightening things up with your menus. So I have an orange pork stir fry that I'm going to show today, and it uses lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. We have a red and green pepper as well as an orange, a lemon here. We're going to use the lemon juice and the lemon zest, as well as some canned pineapple, and a very simple sauce that will go over the top. Now, our featured protein in this stir fry is pork tenderloin. And when you go to the meat case, you want to look for the vacuum packaging. There's probably going to be one or possibly two of the tenderloins per package. They typically will run about £1 to £1.25 a piece. And just as the name suggests, it really is just a very tender cut to work with, quick cooking, and also one of the leanest cuts of pork. So it is perfect for our light stir fry. Before I get started, I'm going to pop this in the freezer for about 20 minutes. It will firm up the pork just a little bit and make it easier to slice. Okay, our pork tenderloin had a chance to chill, and I was able to slice it into thin strips, so it's ready to go. And I've also assembled the rest of the ingredients we're going to need for our orange pork stir fry. So we're going to start with the sauce first. And for that, I have a tablespoon of brown sugar and also 2 teaspoons of cornstarch here in my mixing bowl. I'm just going to stir those together. Of course, the cornstarch is going to be the thickener for our sauce, and that brown sugar is going to add just a little touch of sweetness. Okay, now to that, we are going to add 1/4 cup of chicken broth and also the reserved pineapple juice, along with a tablespoon of reduced sodium soy sauce. So we'll go ahead and stir that in. Okay, we also need to add a teaspoon of lemon zest to our sauce. And so I just take a fresh lemon and a fine grater. I'm using what we call a microplane grater. And I pull that across the surface of the peel, and it removes the yellow portion, leaving the white part behind. The white part is the pith, which is bitter, and that could cause our sauce to be bitter, so we want to make sure that we avoid that. Okay, so we'll get about a teaspoon on the back of that grater, and I'm just going to turn it over and tap it right down into our mixing bowl. Then we're going to take that lemon, cut it in half, and use our juicer so that we can use 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice to add to our sauce. So I just cut it in half, use this juicer, and there are lots of different types of juicers, but this is just the one that I have here at our house that works well. Usually a fresh lemon will yield about 3 to 4 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, so really half of your lemon should do the job for you. So we'll set that off to the side. And I just use this type of juicer so that any of the seeds are caught up top. And we can take the rest of that juice then to add down into our mixture. And there we have 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. So just right for what we need. Now our sauce is ready to go. I'm just going to give it a final whisk here. And I'm going to set it off to the side so that it's ready to go later on when we need it. In the meantime, it's time to go ahead and stir fry that pork tenderloin. And so in my skillet here, I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil. We're going to turn our heat on. We want to go with a high heat because once that hits the pan, it's only going to take about 3 to 4 minutes for that pork tenderloin to saute nicely for us. Now we're using the pork tenderloin here today, but you could also substitute a lean beef if you wanted to, maybe some sirloin steak cut into strips. You could also use a boneless, skinless chicken breast if you wanted to, or maybe a turkey tenderloin. And again, just cut them all up into thin strips. Okay, our skillet has had a chance to preheat because we want it to be nice and hot before you add in the pork tenderloin. And what I like to do is just take a few drops of water and check to make sure that those sizzle up. Then we know that our skillet is nice and hot and ready to go. So we'll go ahead and add in our pork. And then it's just a matter of stirring that around for about 3 to 4 minutes until it's nicely browned. And while that is cooking away over here, we're going to go ahead and work on our vegetables for our recipe. For that, I already have prepared some sliced onion and also some red bell pepper strips. And to that, we're going to add some green bell pepper strips and also a little bit of minced garlic. So for the green bell pepper strips, what I like to do is take my chef's knife and go ahead and slice down the side of the pepper and turn the pepper slightly, just a quarter turn, slice the next side, and work your way all the way around the pepper. So that way you can see what's left here is the seeds in the center, and you have 4 nice panels of the green pepper that you can work with now to create your strips. And you can even take the bottom here. So we'll go ahead and slice the bottom as well. Set those seeds off to the side, and now just come back through and with a rocking motion, go ahead and slice up your green pepper into strips. Alright, and then usually about a half a pepper will work if I'm using both the green and the red pepper strips. So we'll take this one as well. Alright, so we'll take some of our pepper strips now and tuck those down into our bowl so that we're ready to go with our veggies. Clean off our area here. And we're going to also add in a clove of minced garlic. And so for that garlic, if you put it into your garlic press, just like so, and press it through to the other side, you can then use the back of your knife to clean off your garlic press. Alright. And you'll want to use the back of the knife versus the blade of the knife, because if you were to slide the blade of your knife across the garlic press, it might tend to dull the knife just a little bit. The pork is looking nice and brown now, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that from our skillet and transfer it into a clean bowl here to the side, and we'll put our veggies in next. Now, the reason that I am doing this in batches instead of all at one time is that we don't want our pan to drop in temperature too much, and if you put the whole works in at one time, it's probably going to cool down the pan and not do the job that we want it to in cooking. Alright, so in go our veggies. And of course, you could use other vegetables if you wanted to here. You could buy a bag of the frozen mixed vegetables that are, used for stir fry, and that would be a quick shortcut. You could also buy your stir fry sauce if you wanted to. They have those available at the stores now, so that would be a way to cut down on the number of ingredients that you might need. But I actually like to do my own stir fry sauce because that way I can control the sodium content a little bit better. Alright, we have some beautiful color going on. And it's not going to take long on those veggies. I've just given them about a minute or so. And now we're going to add in our sauce that we have set off to the side here. And when the sauce goes in, it's going to help pull up some of those brown bits on the bottom of the skillet. And it's also going to thicken up as it hits the hot pan. Make sure and turn my temperature up there a bit and kind of scrape across the bottom of that pan. And oh, it smells wonderful. I love the citrus smell that I'm getting from the sauce. Get that lemon juice in there and the lemon zest and the pineapple juice and soy sauce in there. Just makes such a nice combination. Alright, looking fabulous. Now we're going to go ahead and add back in our pork slices that I've kept off to the side here. And finally, we'll be adding in our citrus last. And I have some orange segments here as well as some pineapple chunks. Very simple to do. Just cut your orange slices in half, just so that they're nice bite-sized pieces to work with. And our sauce is already thickening up nicely, so let's go ahead and add that fruit in. And citrus is so good this time of year. If anybody in your family is battling a cold, we always like to try and boost up our amount of citrus. And my husband actually is battling a cold right now, so this will be a perfect dinner for us. And dish this up onto our plate. right on top of that rice. I believe the recipe calls for 3 cups of rice. You could use the microwave in the pouch style of rice if you wanted to, or you can do the boil in the bag. There are lots of different options depending on how much time you have. And just like that, there you have it. There is our orange pork stir fry.